Welcome back to my channel. My name is Abimbola, Miss Bimbo, and I'm a Nigerian trained pharmacist who is currently working as a healthcare assistant. Recently, I started sharing some pharmacy kind of content, and that's because these are vital information for overseas trained pharmacists, and it's going to be a disservice if I, as an overseas pharmacist, have this information and refuse to share them. And that's not to say that I've stopped sharing content on healthcare assistant jobs in the UK. I just thought to clarify that if today is your first time seeing my face on YouTube, please do well to like this video and smash your subscribe button. Yes, there are different forms of care jobs. So as a healthcare assistant, there are different roles that different people perform in their respective companies. So stay tuned and watch till the end, because at the end of this video I'm still going to share the difference between the roles of healthcare assistants and that of a support worker. You must have heard that support work is like flexing. Support work is flexing, and you're going to get to know why in this video and what are the requirements that you need to have for you to land a support job. And lastly, I'm going to be sharing a support work advert to serve as a scenario, a case study for me to further buttress my point in this video. So stay tuned and don't go away. Care and support are two words that are interchangeably used. However, there's a marked difference between being a healthcare assistant, being a carer, and being a support worker. There are different types of care jobs. And the first one I'd like to talk about is the care home. So a care home is a residence, like a residential home, where a carer is employed and is a former employee who is being paid. And the residents, or let me call them the patients, are in these residential homes. They leave their various homes to come and start living in residential homes where they are being cared for by carers. Carers in care homes perform varying responsibilities ranging from personal care to movement to handling and all sorts. And majority of the patients that are brought to residential homes are people with very low capacity to do many things. Like they've lost so much level of independence, and they can barely do a lot of things without assistance. So we have people like elderly people, end of life people that require end of life care. You have people that have dementia that can literally not have productive days anymore because they don't know what they are doing any longer. We have people with terminal illnesses. You have people that are even immobile, and that's where the use of sling and hoist comes to play. Majority of the time you find sling and hoist in care homes. Another aspect of care is where a patient or service user have decided, no, I'm not going to a care home. I don't want to leave my own residence. I don't want to leave my property, so I'd rather stay in my home. Or perhaps the patient has no control over it. Maybe the family member have just decided that, no, I don't want my husband, I don't want my wife to go to a care home. I want to keep my wife, I want to keep my partner, I want to keep my grandma in my home, and I want to employ the services of a care agency to bring in their own carers to be caring for my family member in the home. And that is where you have home care. So home care is what people also call domiciliary care, because in this case the family member reaches out to these agencies, and these agencies send their employees to different service users' homes. And that is one very challenging aspect of care, because if you are not mobile, if you do not have a car, it means that your manager or your employer can actually send you to, let's say, 5 different types of service users in a day, where you have to spend 30 minutes at patient A house, then you move to patient B house at another time. You can spend like 1 hour there, and then you go back to patient A house at some time, go and spend another 30 minutes there, then go to patient C house, and you do like that for the rest of the day. And at the end of the day, you might have just spent 5 hours caring for service users, and those are the only hours that are going to count towards your pay. Other times that you have been moving, from one place to another, they do not actually count. So that is for domiciliary care. However, domiciliary care are in several forms, and this leads me to live-in care. For live-in care, this is where a particular client or patient decides to live in his or her own home, and this particular patient needs or requires 24/7 kind of care. So there has to be a carer living with this particular patient. So in this case, a carer is employed to come and live inside the patient's home. The carer gets a room to stay. The carer basically lives her life around this particular client, and at some point you begin to think and do things just like the person you are caring for. And this is the highest paid form of care job in the United Kingdom. They get paid as much as £1,003 per week. For some live-in care, however, you can also get additional support, especially if this particular client requires double carers. I mean, if the patient requires two people to care for them, you can have one carer living with that patient, another carer that comes in at particular periods in time, and you may have a domiciliary carer that is working with a particular client for as long as 12 hours. And in that case, you don't have to work from one client's house to the other. Meanwhile, you're still a domiciliary carer. So for many people that have been asking me, tell us what kind of job you do, please, I just took up a domiciliary care job, please, what do you do? I'm afraid, I've read a lot, I've watched a lot about domiciliary care. So this kind of domiciliary care, you are assigned to a particular client, just one client, and you're going to be spending, let's say, 12 hours or 13 hours with this particular patient alone. For in my own case, I spent 13 hours with my patient, even as a domiciliary carer, and I only care for this one patient. I don't care for two patients. So also, you can have another carer that comes in at night, and that leaves me to wake night carers. So you can have a domiciliary carer working as a wake night carer, in which this domiciliary carer comes in to assist the living carer and sleeps over in the patient's home, spends like say 12 hours or even 13 hours. And in some cases, you may have your employer splitting these hours into maybe six hours, where carers have to be assigned to this client to go and spend 6 hours at a stretch. And I think this is the best form of domiciliary care for people who do not own cars. So if you have got a job as a domiciliary carer, you could ask your employer if they've got clients like this that require, like say, 12 hours, that require 247 care, that you can spend 6 hours with them, or you spend as much as 12 to 13 hours with them. In that case, you don't have to start jumping one bus and walking. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work walking. I mean, trekking from long distances to the other in order to, be able to care for patients. So I forgot to mention that you could even have patients that have decided to leave their homes to go and live in residence, like care homes. Meanwhile, they haven't allowed the carers that are employed in these care homes to care for them. Rather, they have, assigned an agency to send in their carers to come and be caring for them in the care home where they reside. So it's funny that you would be paying for the rent, you'll be paying for staying in that care home, but you're not allowing the carers in that care home to take part of your care. Rather, you have contracted it to another agency to bring in their own carers to come and be caring for you. This often happens in a case where someone has been cared for in his or her home by a domiciliary carer, and this person eventually decides to move to a care home and wishes that this same carer or this same company continues to care for him or her. So it's funny, right? Let's talk about support work now. Number one, for you to get support work, you need to have been an experienced healthcare assistant. So it's like a progression. So you need to have been experienced as a care assistant, or at least have some trainings in care. So somebody reached out to me saying that I should state some of the courses you can take for a support worker. Basically, you need care courses. Yes, all those courses on Florence Academy, all those free ones and the paid, the ones you can pay for. Those are the courses that you need to take even as a support worker. And another thing is you can take additional courses based on the particular job you are applying for. For support work, you've got different types of people that you're supporting. For instance, people with autism. These people are capable people. They are agile, like they can do majority of the things by themselves. They have lots of independence. A lot of them don't require the use of hoist because they are mobile and all of that. However, you need to be able to support them to make their dreams come true. You need to be able to support them to achieve their desired goals, to do what they love to do, to retain their independence, and to improve their independence. Take for instance somebody that has just been discharged from a hospital and the person has actually come down with, let's say, stroke. This person can still be mobile using the wheelchair and all of that, but the person is restricted, can no longer do as much as he or she used to. But your job, your duty is to stay with this person, to encourage this person to do what this person used to enjoy doing, to keep them company. And that's why it's like support work is less stressful. Is less stressful than care jobs, because you actually work according to the dictate of your clients, for clients that still have their mental capacity. And in some cases you need to also give them personal care, but in some other cases they may be able to give themselves personal care. They can take their bath, they can brush their teeth, they can change their clothes. You only need to help them to make choices about what outfit they want to wear per day, and where they want to go. Everything would have been written in their care plan actually. So you are just there to support them to achieve their goals, to live a healthy and a meaningful life basically. So for support work, you can wish to take additional courses that actually deal with issues relating to the kind of clients you'll be caring for. You have different kind of clients in support homes, like people with autism, people with epilepsy, people with schizophrenia, people with bipolar disease and all that. So this kind of people, now you can take additional courses in mental health, you can take additional courses that relate with autism and all of that, just to support your care certifications, so that you can have upper hands when you are applying for the role of a support worker. So talking about pay, for majority of the adverts that I've seen online, on the average a care worker earns the minimum wage or slightly above the minimum wage majority of the times. However, a support worker earns slightly higher than a care assistant. Yes, that's what I have seen. It's my personal observation. And then talking about the workload, or let's say the work-life balance, in a case where you have to be in a care home caring for people with end life situations, caring for people with dementia, caring for people that are elderly, are frail and all that. And in a case where you have to work with somebody that is probably very neat and organized, can do a lot of things by themselves, you just have to run errands for them, maybe help, assist them with shopping. If they want to go out, you follow them, you take them out, you go with them, engage with them in conversations, keep them company. It's like flexing. So I would say for support work, you get more of work-life balance, kind of is less stressful. So lastly, let's look at this case study. I'm going to be displaying a particular advert for the role of a support worker, and let's see what this person that is going to be successful is going to be doing for this particular client. This client is living in his home. This client requires you to work 12 hours with them, and it's not a home. So basically this is going to be like a domiciliary care where you have to spend, let's say, 11 to 12 hours with this client. And in most cases you might not get breaks like care homes where you work 12 hours but you get 1 hour break, and at the end of the day they pay you for 11 hours. So let's see this scenario. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do us like this video and don't hesitate to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much, guys. I love you and I hope to see you in my next one.